Do you get the pun? Because my background's on fire and I talked about burning myths. And yeah. None of you appreciate it. Okay, cool. No, I get it. None of you appreciate the aestheticness of this green screen pun that I have flaming at you. No, I haven't got you there. Okay. So welcome everyone to today's weekly stream. So today we're talking about video myths, and my little title for this one was Let's Burn Some Video Myths. And, you know, cool stuff. I don't mean to be obviously disrespectful to any of those fighting fires in my country right now in Australia. This is just putting some adjectives to what we're doing. And also the image that I had to represent to this stream was a dragon. So yeah. But I think we'll turn off the flames and we'll get back into something a little bit more sultry and a little bit more spooky, because we're talking about myths. Yeah. Lost my forehead for a bit there. So, as per usual, I want to welcome everyone to today's live stream. If you have any questions about video, make sure you comment below and I'll see them on my screen. I also want to ask you guys a question, and feel free to comment your answer below. Do you have any myths about your industry that a lot of people who come to your industry have? So say, for example, the ones that I'll go through today are the ones that I usually get about my industry as to, why they're not interested in doing video, or why they don't want to even touch video because of these myths. So I want to know specifically about the ones in your industry. Could be about, I've heard a lot of like catering ones, is that, don't order the food at the end of the day. Don't order, the hot food to be, served out first, because it'll go bad or something. I don't entirely remember all those myths that are around food, but there are a lot out there, and I am sure there are a lot of myths about your industry. So feel free to comment them below and I'll make sure that I read them out on the live stream. And all I ask you to do is, if you are interested in today's topic, make sure that you invite your friends, that you tag them below in the comments, and you share around this live stream. We do a live stream every week covering various different topics, and yeah, if there's any topic that you want us to specifically cover, do let us know in the comments below and we'll make sure we cover it. So we've got ourselves on YouTube, Facebook, on a few places on Facebook, Twitch, and we've got Instagram on the different camera right behind you guys. Hi. So what I'm going to ask you guys today, I'm just going through my list that I have for my script, and we'll get going. Okay, everyone. So yes, so we're about 10 minutes in. So today we will be talking about myths about video content or video marketing. So these are the three major myths that I have in my business, or say in my industry. So whenever anyone comes to me at a networking event, in day to day, or just has general myths that they bring up, or fears that they usually bring up regarding video that are just completely untrue. So I'm going to go through them with you today, and if you're able to guess what any of them are before ahead of time, feel free to comment them below. So are you guys ready for myth number one? Myth number one. Yes, I feel very dramatic today. Myth number one. Video is expensive. It's not though. So video itself is no longer expensive as it used to be, say, for example, 10, 20, 30 years ago. Because usually when people think video is expensive, is because they think about professional video. When we're talking television ads, cinema ads, we're talking ads that are heavily picturesque and heavily expensive because they are built for television and they're built for, cinemas, for large screens. We all have cameras in the palm of our hands. You're probably watching me on a camera right now. And this is something that we have in the palm of our hands to be able to use to be able to create like beautiful shots. And the reason why video is considered expensive is because, yes, when you're putting in a production for a professional video production, it's going to cost money because you're getting professionals involved. But usually when people come to me with this myth, they say, oh, video's expensive, let's not worry about it. Well, think about yourself. Why is it expensive? Well, with video, say for example, if you're asking, say, a graphic designer to come in and help you with marketing, usually they're helping, say, with your logo or any other graphic elements that you have revolving around your business. Then in that case, that stuff is going to last you, the next 5, the next 10 years worth of your business being used every single day, and they're going to charge accordingly because it's the work that they're doing. Of course, it's going to take them, 50 hours, 80 hours, however long it's going to actually physically take them to get the job done. But it's also something that's going to be with you and your business for the next foreseeable future. Same thing with video, depending on what level you're considering. And with video, of course, it's going to be representing your business, representing your brand for the, next 2 years, next 3 years. Even if it's not current, it's going to still be representing your brand in some way or another. That stuff's going to take time and money. And also because you're thinking about all the other aspects that video can encapsulate. So when it comes to video is expensive, the myth, usually it's just the upfront thing that people come up with when they're not interested in doing video. Well, yes, there's a whole lot of other things to worry about when thinking about doing video, but expense isn't one of them. You can get your phone out right now and start filming yourself, and there you have it, a video filmed all by yourself for little less than the money it was to take your arm out and actually start pressing the record button. Video itself isn't expensive, it's just the route you choose or you deem to go down. So as we go down, a couple of notes that I have down in front of me. So as I said, the video production quality has gone, you're able to achieve a lot more with a lot less nowadays, compared to, say, for example, 30 years ago when, all your real options when it came to video was either you were hiring a crew for television or you were hiring, a crew for cinema. And now that we have digital media, we have multiple people learning, you can jump on a quick online course and get all the skills that you need to be able to do a pretty slick video production in under 2 hours. Like this stuff nowadays, we have the ability to get something looking really professional with not a whole lot of equipment in under, an hour or two. So when people usually say video is too expensive, it's usually because they're thinking about the, car dealership ads. They're thinking about the, fancy ads that they see on television. Like, yes, they're going to cost money because they're paying for that privilege and they're paying for that, extravagance of having a 30-second ad on television that's going around the nation, going around the world, being played multiple times. With your business, you're not worried about that. You're creating videos for your audience, for your potential viewers, and for your valued customers to help inform them about making the right decision, to entertain them about maybe some current news, or whatever your aim is to do with video. It's usually not about grabbing their attention in the first 30 seconds and bam, boom, remember me, okay, move on to the next ad. Because if that was the case, yeah, we wouldn't be doing too well. Nowadays, when it comes to advertising, you are worrying about, on social media, and a lot of people, especially in my industry, are saying that it's too overrun, it's too crowded. Well, it's not that it's crowded with people's attention being taken every which way. It's because there's a lot of monotonous sounds being in the background. People only pay attention when it's something that directly reflects them or directly interests them as to why they should be taking interest in your business, your product, your service. So with the work that you, say for example, the clients that we have, we work on creating content that breaks past that and actually concentrates on making sure that they're delivering something that the audience actually wants to hear and what the audience actually wants to understand. So there's no point in having that monotonous moan of there's way too much content out there, we're being overblown, That's not the case. And I must say that's actually another myth that we have, is that no, in regards to video content out there, we have way more to go in the next, century, as it were, of content that can be created out there, because there's not a video that addresses everything out there. And as I mentioned before, you can film a video of pretty decent quality using your phone, something that you're holding in your hand right now, probably as you're watching me. So, or you're listening to me, be it that way. And as you've got the phone, you can, put it at different angles, utilize the lighting and sound and backgrounds you have around you. You can create something really easily with, a mobile video editing app. So we've got a couple of tutorials on our YouTube channel that show you how to do this. And I'm currently working on one right now called Vlog It that we're putting together. But this type of power wasn't seen, say, 15 or 20 years ago. And that's why people found it so expensive, because they had to hire editors, people that knew how to use these bulky, cumbersome editing software just to get something simple done. Well, nowadays, you can do it all on your phone relatively easily with a couple of swipes here and there. So it's not expensive in a price sense, depending on which way you go about it. Yes, video can seem expensive when you're not willing to put the effort or time into seeing the benefit from it. The reason why video is seen, or it actually is, the best form of communication right now is because it does all the things. It touches on all aspects of learning, both visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. You actually feel what I'm feeling, and you actually understand me because you can actually see me, you can hear me, and because you see both of those, yes, I am inside this tiny box frame on screen, but you're also able to actually understand where I'm coming from, and you're able to understand my mannerisms more than, say, a still image or a text. And until holograms become a thing, actually efficiently become a thing, not just something that you see on stage impersonating your famous dead pop stars. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of those. It's like, they're dead. Okay, I'm distracting myself a little bit there. But until the holograms become a thing, videos is currently the best way to get your audience from A to B, taking them down that customer journey and getting them to actually genuinely trust you and understand you and actually take action on whatever you're selling, or however you're getting them, or however you're serving them actually. So what I want to look at is that when you're thinking about a video, a large majority of my clients still have a habit of thinking about a video as this television thing. As I mentioned before, television, I'm not saying that televisions are out and out. I'm just saying that I haven't watched a single minute of television in the past 5 years. Like, I haven't watched that much television recently, and for a lot of people out there with streaming services, with the ability to download and watch any show that you want, and to be able to watch YouTube on a regular basis. I know multiple people who have foregone television because they can just sit there and watch YouTube. You have the choice to choose what you want to watch and when you want to watch it, compared to regular television. So when people are thinking in regards of that television, you're thinking a little bit limited, a little bit constricted. And in that confines and in that constriction, you're thinking about, how, it costs, $2,000 for a TV spot, for a regular TV spot, for example. These prices vary generally. And when you have that 30 seconds or less to, make an impression on an audience member who's probably not sitting there watching you, who's probably just fast forwarding through the ad. Let's be frank, they're probably fast forwarding through the ad, not paying attention, going to the loo, getting a cuppa, or like they're not really watching and paying attention. How are you going to stand out? And especially when these ads usually demand a high production value, which usually involves getting a TV production team in to fulfill that, which is why the ads and the prices, they stack on top of each other until they pretty much fall over with the weight of money that you're giving to a dying media outlet. But with social media, and of course they are always going to try and get their money because they are a business. But you, as a small business owner, as a medium, or even a large business owner, you have the option to be able to pivot and use your videos as you see fit. But you're able to create a journey or tell a story over time that's a lot more effective than anything you could do on 30 seconds on a television ad. And like I said, you can do it easily with your phone. So video is not expensive. It's just which option you prefer to do it with. And when you work with professionals such as myself or other people out there who are marketing professionals who specialize in video, they're probably going to be saying the same thing. And also, when it comes to actually planning your video, and why it's always perceived as video is way too expensive, is that, yeah, there is a little bit of planning involved when you're actually planning a video and figuring out the costs on what you actually want to put in regards to your video budget. But that can be easily sorted out and real easily planned out ahead of time compared to, say, if you were using, say, a television or a cinema ad. So for a majority of clients that I used to work with when I did a couple of cinema ads was, they would, get the budget, put it together, put the video together, give it to the cinemas, and just, have a running total budget. So every time their ad played, they would take money off as you would go. And for some reason, some of these people would think, okay, I'm going to spend the minimal amount possible I can on the actual video itself, the product, and I'm going to spend all of my money on actually getting it out there and being seen by everyone. Which is fine. It's your business. It's your choice to do that. But they wasted a majority of that money because no one understood what the message was. No one understood what the point of it was. And because it was so generic and boring, no one really listened to it anyway. They just, fiddled on their phones. They just ignored what was on the screen because it wasn't the movie they were there to see. But when you're on social media, but when you're on digital, or when people are going to your website, and that's right, they're going on your website to see your content. They are actively on your, space of land that you own, that you control. You perceive how the journey goes. You control everything compared to social media, which is, rented land essentially. You have that option to control them a lot more than you would, say, if you weren't doing that. And then people are actually on your website and they're keen to learn more about you and your business. They're more likely to click a video about your business than reading an entire wall of text on your website. I'm currently working with a couple of clients who are trying to utilize videos in their world, but they don't want to do it on a professional scale. Let's say, for example, their business is... No, I'm not going to give that. They'll give it away. Their business, they have a lot of content out there that's a very homemade, that's very organic, that's very, I don't want to say it, but it's very homely, very, very, very nice to watch. And you see it, and you see the people who are filming it and the people who are actually in the videos. They feel happy, they feel natural, and they feel human. So that's what they want to do, and we're currently working with them to create a marketing plan that bounces off that and strengthens you to be able to get you through that, journey plan that they have for you, from general awareness all the way to actually making a purchase to their products and services. So that's something that you can do too, and it doesn't automatically have to be a slick, Mercedes car ad. Because if it would, most of those car ads, they're played to the point of ridiculousness, and most people don't really pay attention to them unless they want a car. That's what targeting ad is for. We have so much data nowadays that we're able to actually target people when they're actually looking for a car. That's where you spend your money, and that's where you put your effort. And if you're not using that data and that knowledge to your advantage, and you're just... basically putting your ad out like they used to do in television. Of course, they didn't have the access that they do now to the amount of data that they have. But now you're able to actually control the way people actually approach your business, and they actually feel a lot more trust to you because they can see how your business is progressing over time. But also you're able to be front of mind because you've shown them behind the scenes of your business. You've shown them different aspects of your business through video. And you're able to stick in their mind to be able to for them to be able to remember you when they need your service or product. And that's not expensive. That's actually just part of the plan. If you deem it's too expensive, that means it's too high of a price compared to what else you're doing. Is what else you're doing effective? Will it be as effective as the videos that you're working on there? I'm intrigued to find out. Do comment below if you don't feel like that's correct, and the way your marketing at the moment is, doing fine. You can never be better. I haven't found anyone like that yet, but if you are the first, I'd be happy to meet you. G'day, Andre, and g'day, Karen. So what I'm going to do is we're going to move on to checking out a little bit of a break before we move on to the second two myths that we have for today's live stream. So I'm going to take a little drink. G'day guys on Instagram. And then you guys get to see my screen. All right. So looking on the screen right now, and for you guys on Instagram, unfortunately you're unable to see this, but on the screen right now you can see our event for our Geelong Podcasters event that's happening this Saturday, the 18th at 12 p.m. So the meetup is where it was just a nice casual luncheon where you get to meet up. It's a free event. Oh, let's scroll this down. Free event where you get to meet up with other local podcasters in Geelong. So if you're around Geelong, if you're up in Werribee, Drysdale, I'm encapsulating all of the Geelong and the Bellarine here. The reason we created this is because we had a lot of people who were going through our podcasting courses, courses, workshops and such. But a lot of them still found out that it was kind of hard to get into podcasting because they didn't know anyone else doing it. And there was a lot of people out there that I met who were doing podcasting, who were doing really good work, but they didn't really have anyone to bounce off in regards to having a community that was local, that was face-to-face. Online communities are great. You get to meet everyone from around the world. But it's always nice just to have a nice local group of people that you actually know and people that you actually meet face to face that are interested in the same subject as you. That's how, communities form. That's how villages form. That's how everything forms. So on this Saturday, we have our first Geelong Podcasters event. We're looking to run one about every quarter, so about every 3 months. And if you are interested in starting a podcast, if you already run a podcast, or if you run one in the past and your podcast is just up there ready for people to download, feel free to come to the event, meet up with other podcasters, and we'll also be recording our Geelong Podcasters podcast episodes there. So we're actually running a podcast in February for that, and we will be recording those episodes there on the day. So I look forward to seeing you there if you're interested in that. And then the next event that I have for you, when the screen loads, is our next workshop event, which will be held at the NAB Village, Geelong. Yes, you're very slow today, aren't you? Okay. So on the screen, you'll see it's called Let's Go Facebook Live. We had a lot of our clients asking for a workshop or a course on how to do Facebook Live effectively, because when you haven't done live streaming for the first time, it can be quite daunting. And for a lot of people, just that instinct of, I understand that, say for example, Facebook is pushing live streams quite heavily because, they get the interaction, you get the engagement, and that's what people want to see and want to hear. And personally for myself, I like to be able to use live streams to be able to get a gauge and reaction from you guys, but I'm also able to actually get content from it as well. Having a weekly live stream forces me to, sit down, create the content and answer your questions, but it also allows me to use this content later on in future videos if I see fit. And that's something that I want to utilize for you guys. So if you are interested in learning how to Facebook Live for you and your business, I highly recommend checking out that workshop, again, at the NAB Village, Geelong. So again, that's Let's Go Facebook Live. And then the next event after that, and I really hope you're not going to take that long to load. Thank you. I'm just going to open up all of them because that shouldn't take that long to load. So on the screen now that you'll see, on the 29th of January, we have our Video On series. So we've had a lot of people contacting us about video production or video marketing for specific channels, in the sense that people want to learn specifically about one or two platforms when it comes time to actually creating videos for those platforms, because people have like a really high Instagram following and a really low like Twitter following. They want to focus more on the Instagram because that's where the customers or the potential customers are. So on the 29th, which I've forgotten which date it is, but on the 29th we will be holding Video on Instagram, the first of the Video On series, and with Video on Instagram we'll touch on everything to do with IGTV, we'll touch on Instagram Live, Instagram Stories, as well as the Instagram newsfeed and all other aspects revolving around that. So if you've ever been worried or you've ever been a bit confused about putting your videos on Instagram, we highly recommend that you come to this workshop, and we'll see you there. So, and then after the 29th, I think this is before it, whoops. So before the 29th, on the Monday, 26th, I believe. So on the 26th, we run a monthly Start My Podcast workshop on behalf of Creative Geelong, where we work. So we're the office I'm actually in right now. So Start My Podcast is a monthly workshop where we get you walking in with just a general idea for a podcast or an idea of what to do, and we have you walking out with a clear plan, a clear schedule, and a clear direction, but also a trailer, like a piece of audio, a 2 to 3 minute audio trailer presenting your podcast and giving people the roles and the ideas of where to go next, because you actually have a piece of audio, a piece of your podcast ready to go on a USB that you can walk out of the workshop with your podcast ready to go in under 2 hours. So if you're interested in that at all, make sure that you check out the Start My Podcast workshop and recording session that you find on the Creative Geelong Eventbrite. Whew. And the next event that we are not running, but we are helping host here at Creative Geelong, is the podcast guesting, how to share your message on other people's podcasts. So this is this is being run by Dr. Jürgen Strauss of InnovaBiz, who we did a workshop with back in August last year as part of the Small Business Festival in Geelong. And we had a lot of people asking about how to become a guest on a podcast, because there was a lot of effort in creating a podcast, maintaining a podcast, and for a lot of people, they just don't have the time or the flexibility to be able to invest in that type of marketing long term. So what you can do, I highly recommend that you do. I know you're unhappy. What I highly recommend that you do is become a guest on other people's podcasts. Give away your knowledge, give away your information, so then people who you may not have known who you were find you, start following you, learn more about you, and then eventually buy from you because they trust you. But then they also trust the people. They also trust who they're originally listening to in the podcast. So Jürgen does a lot of great stuff. So he'll be running that workshop on the 30th of January here at Creative Geelong. And please don't do that. And I will be helping. I won't be running the event. That will be Jürgen's responsibility. But if you're really interested, I highly recommend that you come along. And I will be making sure that all my clients who have even thought about podcasting in any capacity get on there. All right. And then... No? Oh, oops. That was just something that I must have opened and forgot to close down. So, and we'll be moving back to the large screen. So, thank you guys for indulging me in that little break there. G'day, Matthew. Nice to see you there. All right, time for myth 2. All right. Myth 2. My industry doesn't use video. I'm pretty sure it does. So, ignoring my tone there, yes, your industry actually does use video. And even though you say, for example, you yourself haven't used video or you don't plan to use video in the future, every single industry, no matter which niche you're a part of, someone in that niche has used video to help boost their marketing or are in the plans to do so moving forward. So no matter how boring you may perceive that your profession or your industry or your job is, people are not... people who are your potential customers or people outside of your sphere of influence are actually interested in what you do. So say, for example, the work that I do, because I work it day in, day out, I run my business, I might think that I actually am quite boring. My job is actually quite boring and very uninteresting. But as soon as I meet people at events, at family gatherings, at, out on the street, when you ask, oh, what do you do? a lot of people are intrigued as to like, oh, you help people, get on video, you help people with marketing, wow. And they have a lot of questions, a lot of interest. And that's the same thing with people needing your services or needing your products to help solve their problems or fix their mistakes. So what they want to do is to actually know a little bit more about you, your business, your staff, more things about you and your business, because they want to make sure, A, that they can trust you, and B, that you're actually going to be the one to solve their problem. And humans, we have a tendency of trusting other humans. When you've got very large companies, of course, you've got like the infrastructure and the numbers and all that stuff behind them. But a lot of people actually prefer to be able to talk one-on-one with someone, and they actually like the idea of communicating face-to-face, as it were, with the person who's going to help fix their problem. So the myth is your industry isn't using video. Well, if that's the case, why not? Is your industry about, hurting people violently? I can imagine a case that, that's probably not your thing. But remember, people outside of your industry are interested in what you do. So say, for example, there's a couple of clients that we've had in the past who are accountants, and they always keep bringing up that, oh, no one wants to learn about accountancy. No one one's interested in us. We'll just go back to, images and text. It's like, that's not the case. People are interested in learning about what you can do for them more than about yourself. So say, for example, I'd be interested in finding out who my accountant is, because I am trusting you with my financial records, which is something I'm actually quite scared about. It's not that I'm afraid of money, it's just I'm afraid of doing it wrong, which is a lot of millennials or a lot of young businesses, a lot of other young business owners share that sentiment with me, that they're afraid of doing something wrong, and hence I'm afraid to show you my books because I may have done something wrong and I don't know about it. And as an accountant, you are a big scary, accountant, and you have to convince me, you have to show me why that's not the case. And yes, you may not be, comfortable in front of the camera. You may not be a natural performer, but it doesn't matter if that's not the case. I need to be able to see you are a human that cares for me, my problems, and can help me fix my issues. And if you're unable to do that, if you're unable to sit in front of a camera, well then create a podcast, start talking it out. Or if you're afraid in any way of having yourself recorded, well then, maybe get some of your staff or some of your colleagues to help you out in that respect. Because if video has not been done in your industry yet, I'll tell you now that it's going to happen really soon, or it's already happening and you haven't found out about it yet. Sorry to pause here, guys. There was just... the background stopped looping. Seems to be streaming and chugging along. And my background stopped looping, which usually means there's something going on, which is fun. So temporarily pause while we get this technical glitch sorted. And there we go. All right. So carrying on, if you don't... So moving on, there's just... let's get back going into the flow, Zoe. So moving on, there's a statistic I like to bring up that 55% of people watch videos daily. And that's an Envision source there, if you're interested in finding out who, stated that quote. Now, 55% of people, so that's, over half of all the people who are in the internet, watch videos daily. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of hours. That's a lot of time that people can watch videos. And I have a very sneaking suspicion that your niche, that your industry, that your little pocket of the world probably has videos of someone answering people's questions, that has a video of, showing them how they completed this particular service or how this product, changed their lives and fixed their problems. And if not, then there's something relatively wrong. But don't worry, that'll be something that'll definitely change in the future. And if you feel like that, okay, no one around me has been doing this type of video, so either personally or anyone in your industry who are, idols or, people who are kicking it out of the park when it comes to actually doing business in your particular industry or niche, why don't you Google it? Check out your competition. I like to call it competition because I usually just think of people who are in the same niche or same industry as me as potential collaborators as opposed to competitors. But yes, feel free to research your competitors. See what they're doing. See what content they're creating that helps gain people's trust, that brings people on board. So when the people need their service or product, they are front of mind over you. There's probably a good chance that that's already happening. All right. I think we're back on board because the internet is playing nice now. And now we're on to myth 3. You ready? Final one of the stream, I promise. Myth 3. Shorter videos are better. We're not really sure what metric we're actually saying what's better. And then if it's better, that means shorter does more ROI. It's not really clear. And that's the type of feeling I have as well. So shorter videos are better. That's usually just the default response when people say that when they want a video, they want a shorter video as possible. That is incorrect. No. So the reason why people say shorter videos are better is because people's perceived attention spans have gotten shorter over time due to, the amount. All right, the best way to put it is marketers for a long time believed, and a lot of people outside believe that our attention spans have gotten shorter because of the digital wave that we have. We have, something to grab our attention every 2 to 3 seconds on the device that we hold in our pockets. But the reason that it's actually not the case is that humans don't prefer shorter videos. It's mainly because we have the ability now to actually want to seek our attention. All right. Okay, let me rephrase that. It's not that we hate shorter videos, and the background has gone again. I really hope this hasn't stuffed up too much. Okay. You guys all right if I just do that a little bit again? So carrying on from, number 3, shorter videos are better. Blah, 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 blah. And so the truth is, shorter videos are not better. The reason that people think this is the optimal idea, or having a shorter version of your video is going to be the optimum version of, whatever you're trying to say, whatever your message is because there is this perception that our attention spans, since the digital wave, since we've got phones in our pockets, has gotten shorter. That's actually not the case. And the reason for that is because we have a lot more data than we used to. We're able to track almost anything that any of us do online at any one time. And we're also able to see how much time people can take when something is not piquing their interest. So it's no longer a case of people thinking that, videos need to be shorter, it's no longer the case, because it's not that people attention spans have become less than a goldfish. It's our attention spans for something that doesn't pique our interest has gotten shorter. So, back in ye old days, so, in the 1800s, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff to pique our interest. So our attention spans were relatively all right, but also we had our minds to go into. So say, for example, if something was boring that was happening in front of you, you switched off and you went in your brain and you just cattled off and kept going. But nowadays we have the ability to actually look at our phones. If we if something is boring for more than 2 or 3 minutes at a time and we have the option to take our phone out, we take it out and do something that piques our interest, that actually holds our interest and, gets us, what we crave, either entertainment, information, or a combination of the two. Now, with videos that we want to create, or the videos that we try to create at Video Confidence Coach, is we try to make sure that our videos are, one, aimed at our particular niche, and two, actually hold the attention and pique the interest of the people that we're trying to talk to and trying to help. Because those are the people that the video is going to resonate with, and those are the people that are actually going to buy your product, so we're going to buy your service, who are actually going to put in that effort to research more about your company, who are going to be like, this is intriguing me, I'm interested to learn more. And then they're going to take that action to go, hopefully, into your customer journey, to then watch more videos, to watch more content, be able to like you, trust you, and then take that next step of buying from you. And all because you just piqued their interest. And that's not because, that video is, 10 times shorter than the previous video. Live streams wouldn't be a thing if we all liked short videos. Netflix wouldn't be a thing if we all enjoyed short videos. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So the reason why people have a tendency of, or marketers in that general, have a tendency of focusing on shorter videos is because the attention that people have for stuff they are not interested in is about 8 seconds or less. So say, for example, they click on a video, they don't know what it's about. They watch it. Cool. All right, I can press a button, go back, and then go back to what I was doing that piques my interest more. So you need to make sure that when you create your content, or when you create videos, images, or any sort of content that out there that is building up that like and trust factor with your audience, you need to make sure that you're relevant to that niche, that you're relevant to that audience, to keep that interest, and you can keep them on the video as long as you need to. So that's something that we always recommend for our clients. And because we've got that data to back it up, we're able to actually find out when people drop off a video, when people, wane off a video, then maybe jump back on, watch a little bit more, jump off, then jump back on, and as such. And again, it's not because their attention spans are short, it's just because they've got other things that are piquing their attention at the same time. So what you need to do when you create your videos, or when you hire a marketer, or whenever you decide to actually do videos for your business, you need to make sure that the items that you're actually focusing on in your videos are relevant to the people that are actually viewing the videos. And because if people want a certain piece of information, or people want an answer to their problem or their mistake, they're willing to watch however long a video to get that answer. And if something is, g'day, I'm Coach. And if something is engaging their interest, and if something is enough to pique their interest, but continually pique their interest, not just pique interest and then down, okay, off I go, feed the cat or something. When you want to do, and when you want to create these videos, you want to keep piquing their interest with new facts, new statistics, new ideas, something that piques their interest to help them, again, solve their problem or find out what you can do to help fix their solution. But when you actually create your videos, you want to make sure that you cover that and make sure that you lead them on to the next thing. And another question that I usually do get asked is, what is the right length of time for a video? Because they hear a lot of things from different people, like, under 2 minutes, under 5 minutes. Well, it depends entirely on your content. It depends entirely on your audience, and it depends entirely on what they actually want from you. So a lot of people, when creating content, they always go for the smallest common denominator. And they always try and think, okay, I just need to do 2 or 3 minutes, listing off a couple of points, and then tell people to come contact me and call me. That works when you're doing top of funnel stuff. So when you want to be nice and general, or you want to just let people aware of your business. But when you start getting to other levels of your funnel, so the funnel being what you're actually getting people to come into, so, the people that are falling out of the bucket, as it were, people who are not interested in your product or service, people who have maybe found a few of your pieces of content interesting and helpful for them, but then they're not actually going to be willing to buy your product. Well, then they fall out of the funnel. So as you go down, the people that go down, anything below, like say the second or third level, having anything general like that is not going to cut it. It's not addressing their specific problem, and it's not addressing why they're actually wanting to follow you and understand you. So in that case, you need to make sure that you think and process that customer journey to be able to work through that. So when they get to that little point in the middle, right before they're about to buy, that they can actually see where you're coming from. They can understand that you can help solve their problem, and they take that action right away because you've already built up that trust in the long run. So having those shorter videos, that's going to be quite hard to be able to get that across in under 2 minutes or less, if that's all you're doing. Of course, if you've got like hundreds and hundreds of videos, you could probably manage it, but you can only manage, let's say, one message at a time, which can be a bit, that can be a bit hard, especially for professionals out there. So having a longer video, it doesn't really matter as long as your video, usually what I like to say is in that first 10 seconds. So in the first 10 seconds of your video, no matter how long your video is, make sure that you address, pique their interest. Like I've been mentioning before, make sure you pique their interest of the person who is actually going to be relevant for the video. And then they'll continue watching for the rest of the video. So I've got 10 more minutes of the live stream. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment below. G'day. Whew. And hopefully the live stream hasn't cut in the meantime, that I haven't had any surprise people or things just go bleh because the internet has stuffed up. But I really hope you have enjoyed dispelling these myths with me. And these are just some, basic myths that we get thrown at a lot when we come to, say, like I said, in networking events, at customer calls. We have a lot of people thinking this is the way that it is when it really isn't. So if you have any myths about your particular industry, I would love to hear about them. So make sure you comment them below and let me know what those myths are, so then I know when in the future I know not to think about those. I know not to think of that as real or as facts. So then when I go in with a clear headspace. My call to action for this particular live stream, I technically shouldn't say that, but that's all right. I'm going to ask you to watch any of our YouTube tutorials that we have on our YouTube channel. Like I said, I'm currently working on one at the moment for a new app. As we go along. And I'm just going to ask you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel, check us out on LinkedIn. We're going to be focusing a lot more on LinkedIn in 2020 because that's where the people are at. And hopefully, after many times, LinkedIn actually gives me the ability to go live on LinkedIn. It's finally better, but we'll figure about that when it comes to it. And make sure you check out our videoconfidencecoach.com.au website. It's all fancy. It looks really nice. It's from the guys at Start, and it looks really pretty and really nice. You scroll down, you click buttons. It's all pretty. It all works. And we're currently working on a more in-depth website as we go along. But of course, that costs money. But also, I need to figure out what exactly I'm doing and where I'm going with it. What exactly I want to do for you guys, because when creating a website, there's a lot of things that I could do for you, but I want to make sure that I'm not just creating stuff willy-nilly and it doesn't actually serve or help you guys. So in the meantime, I'm probably going to finish up here, and I'll finish up with you guys at Instagram as well. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'm going to finish up here. Let me know how you felt about the changing backgrounds and voice and whoa, because I actually quite enjoyed changing between the two and then going through all that. So I'll leave you guys to it. I'm going to finish up here and probably catch a bus in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to finish off the live stream there, and I'll see you next week. Oh, and check out our YouTube because we'll have 3 videos a week. That too. All right, bye.